This is Wallet Brief, where we break down what actually moved the U.S. economy this week, without the noise. If prices, interest rates, jobs, housing, or taxes are quietly changing your money, this is where you stay informed. Let's get into what really happened this week, and what it means for your wallet. Over the past several years, discussions around the future of the U.S. tax system have continued to evolve, especially as government spending and long-term deficit projections remain a key focus for policymakers. In earlier months, economists and fiscal analysts repeatedly pointed to one recurring idea: the possibility of introducing a national consumption-based tax, commonly known as a value-added tax, or VAT. While widely used in Europe and other developed economies, the concept has traditionally faced resistance in the United States. In recent weeks leading up to now, that conversation has gradually picked up momentum again, largely driven by ongoing concerns about how the federal government will manage long-term revenue needs without significantly increasing borrowing. This week, the VAT discussion appeared once again in policy commentary and economic analysis, particularly as budget experts reviewed updated long-term projections related to federal spending and revenue gaps. While no formal proposal has been introduced, the frequency of these discussions has increased, signaling renewed attention from policy circles. Looking at the broader trend, the signal remains cautious but persistent. The VAT is still not an immediate policy move, but it is increasingly being treated as a potential option for long-term fiscal planning. That means the conversation is slowly shifting from a purely theoretical idea toward something that is being more seriously evaluated. For households, the concept of a VAT raises important questions about everyday costs. In countries where VAT systems are in place, the tax is built into the price of goods and services, meaning consumers encounter it during nearly every purchase. That could translate into slightly higher prices on a wide range of everyday items, depending on how such a system is structured. At the same time, some policymakers argue that consumption-based taxes could provide a more stable source of government revenue and potentially reduce pressure on income taxes. From a practical standpoint, nothing changes right now for U.S. consumers. The VAT remains a policy discussion rather than a real-world tax change. However, the fact that it continues to resurface suggests it may remain part of long-term fiscal debates. As a simple cultural reference, large global companies and high-profile business leaders, often associated with international markets where VAT systems already exist, highlight how common these taxes are outside the United States, even though they are not part of the U.S. system today. Looking ahead to next week, viewers should watch for continued updates around federal budget discussions, economic policy research, and any new signals from lawmakers. If the VAT concept begins appearing in more formal proposals or legislative discussions, that would indicate a shift from conversation toward action. For now, the trend is clear. The idea is not going away, but it is also not arriving anytime soon. That's your wallet brief for this week. These changes don't always make headlines, but they do change how much you pay, save, and earn. We'll be back next week with